Okay. Hello, 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 hello. I'm the one and only Alexander Jamall, aka,
You are such a piece of shit.
aka also known as Megan the Stallion, aka the WAP, aka the WAP 2, aka J Ho's best friend.
By you
Um,
wish.
yeah, thank you. Hello. Thank you for tuning in.
So my name is Jay, also known as Nervous Shipwreck on the Instagrams. I don't go by AKA because I don't need the validation.
And I'm J-Ho, and I'm FKA, your daddy's favorite,
Sorry, what's
Aw.
FKA?
formerly known as.
Oh.
Wow.
And we have an amazing special guest today. Would you like to introduce yourself?
Hi, my name is Miss Fiercalicious.
An amazing drag queen across Toronto, and we're going to have a little bit of a chat today.
Yay!
Today we're going to start our icebreaker with a fun thing that Jamall thinks is fun called Hot Topics. So the first one that we're going to talk about, which I also want to preface, I know nothing about the Kardashians or the Jenners. I don't know why. I just never got around to it. It seems like a lot to catch up on now. I'm not going to do it. So, but she did something with the WAP.
Yes, so obviously we all know that the WAP video and song from yours truly, Megan the Stallion, and Cardi B. And then in the video, actually, she kind of just made like a special guest appearance. She didn't do anything. She just walked down a hallway and then was like, "Hey, I'm Kylie Jenner," and people have been getting pretty like fired up about it. What are your thoughts?
Oh,
We've all seen the video.
Oh, that's why they're mad.
They're
I
mad
thought
that
they were-
she's in it.
Oh,
Yeah.
I thought they were mad because I saw just like her face like talking about it on Instagram, and I thought she just like said something wrong, but I forgot she was in the video because I saw it when I was drunk.
So they were mad because they were like, how she's Kylie Jenner. This is a
Right.
rap video. She has nothing to do with rap, nor does she quote unquote do anything.
She does a lot.
Well,
But,
I mean, she
my-
appropriates
hey,
black culture.
hey,
Okay.
I give her a shit ton of credit for starting her own makeup line, all that jazz. So I think she does a lot, but that's what social media was saying. They're all like, she doesn't do shit. All she does is appropriate black culture, and this is just the icing on the cake.
Right.
Now she's in that black music video where she's literally the only non-colored person in the video. So they're like, get the bitch out of the video.
Also, who uses colored anymore? Anyway,
Oh
Miss Fiercelicious,
Literally, like colored, like everyone, like there was even a mulatto girl in there, and she, like,
okay, you just used two inappropriate words in a row.
Outdated.
Yeah.
I'm half breed. I can say
Colored.
Oh my
mulatto.
god, three in a row. Miss Fiercelicious, what do you think of Kylie Jenner
Ding, ding,
being in
ding.
this video?
I love Kylie Jenner, and it's not like she asked to be in the video. Like Cardi and Megan asked her to be in the video. It obviously gets like more hype for the video because she has a huge following on social media. And Cardi tweeted that she asked Kylie to be in the video because I think Kylie threw a birthday party, or Cardi threw a birthday party for her daughter, and she was really nice to her the whole time. She was nice to her child, so they got along really well. And she made a cameo in it. And I don't
It's like,
see
why
anything
can't
wrong
we
with
be
that.
friends? Yeah, why
They're
can't we be
empowering.
friends?
They're women empowering each other.
Yeah, and you know what? I understand that, like, and you know what? I'm the first person to make something into a racial issue, or something that's like racist. But I think that sometimes we also have to remember that these people have like friends.
Yeah.
You know.
And not everything has to be about race.
Yeah.
Especially with
Yeah.
this song, like it has nothing
Yeah.
to do with race or
But I
anything.
mean, it could have been nice if it was a black girl.
they
but-
did have black girls.
They
Normani
did,
was
yeah.
in it.
Oh yeah, she
Oh, I
was.
love Normani.
You're right.
She
It's not like they
she
took
should
out
have
the black
just been
people.
the
Right.
only girl though to be in it. Like
Yeah.
I feel like she should have had a verse.
Normani.
Yeah.
that would've
She's
been-
definitely a top. She's not a verse.
You know what I mean.
Okay.
Am I the only one that didn't realize how skinny Normani was? She looked so thin in that video. Like she looked like a twig.
I think she looked appropriate.
I think
She
Yeah.
definitely looked sexy, but I thought she was like juicy. Like
I mean, you sometimes are juicy and sometimes you're a little bit thinner, and you know, people
I just
go through-
hope that she's not getting like commercially thin. Do you know what I mean? Like
I mean,
thin
if that's
for
what she wants. The thing is like it's different for like young girls. In my opinion, this is my quick opinion, which is usually right. Like for young girls who like don't have nutritionists and don't have these kind of things, it's like to lose weight and do those kind of things. is usually in a very bad way. But the thing is like for a lot of celebrities, they have an ability to gain and lose weight very quickly and in very healthy ways. That makes it like a very hard standard for young people to deal with. But like for her, it's like she can do it. She's doing it in a healthy way. It just might not be healthy for her followers.
Just because you can do it in a healthy way doesn't mean that you're doing it for the right reasons. So in Hollywood, a lot of these people do it because they feel the need to be thin.
I want to be more famous. If I want to be more famous, I'll do this.
Thank you.
There's nothing wrong with that.
I'm hoping that that's not her plan because she wasn't thick. Like she wasn't like. What's that?
Anyway, we're not women and we shouldn't be judging women's bodies. So let's go to the next one.
I am a woman. I am a full-blown woman.
And we'll talk about
you will not disrespect me.
That'll be on a different episode.
That'll be on a different episode. So let's talk about my thing.
I'm out. I quit.
Okay, fine. This is my favorite thing that's happening this week. I found out I was on the internet, I was perusing, and I saw that Big Brother started again, and I was like, it's an all-star season. I'm freaking out.
Big Brother, sorry, it is
US. Yeah, yes. All-Stars. And it was like when Janelle came back. Janelle, if you're listening to this, come onto our podcast. I love you so much. I screamed at my TV when you were on it, and if you don't win, I'm gonna cry. Does anybody want to
just so you know, she can't hear this, and she won't be on our podcast because she's in the house.
Well, right now, but when she comes out,
she gets eliminated.
Or wins.
Okay, the thing that I want to say about Big Brother is I love Big Brother so much. Well, I used to watch it all the time, but I don't know about you guys. But lately, I have found it to be kind of like a part-time job to watch Big Brother.
I know.
Because they air so many episodes within a week. It's like you really have to schedule in. Like you need to see like the episode like first that like tells you everything that's happening in the week. Then you do like the elimination episode. Then you do like the HOH and all this other shit. And it's like I don't have time anymore.
It's 3 hours a week, girl. Plus all access. It's a lot. It's a commitment.
And then the live feeds. Oh my god! Like who has the time?
Yeah.
I love Big Brother, but I've actually only seen like 2 seasons of the American one.
Right.
Or one, I think. I saw the one where like Ariana's brother was on it.
Frankie Grande.
Yeah, he was horrible and it just made me hate him more. But I've seen every single season of the Canadian one. I've heard also that like the Canadian one is better than the American one.
I like if you like twists and turns, then Canada is really, really good. If you like kind of like straightforward, like fucked up gameplay, then the US is kind of the way to go.
I need to watch the American one then.
You know, they're both good.
Yeah, I live for the Canadian version. It was really sad that they had to cancel this past season.
I cried. I literally cried.
Can you imagine like being locked up in the house for a whole month?
Yeah.
Thinking you're gonna like win or at least like make it to the end or whatever, and then you get told that like everyone has to leave.
Miss Rona at it again.
Yeah, that sucks. And they don't get to come back.
Yeah, and that's it. That's it for them. They never get to it. They never get to try. It's awful. Speaking of reality TV, here's our last hot topic, which kind of next to our full topic of today. Drag Race Canada. How are we feeling? Let's all actually just go around and say who we think is going to win. Or who's your top 3?
Oh. Sorry, can you remind me of who went home this past week?
Boa.
Fuck. Okay, so then I'm going to say Bobo and the 2 old girls.
What? There's no one old.
I think
they're all in their mid-30s.
I think you're talking about Rita Baga and Jimbo.
The fact that you even knew says to me that's like, okay, bitch, well, they're old.
They're not old. They're like 35.
But they look old.
Yeah. Miss Fiercelicious.
Who do I think is going to win?
Yeah. Or you're like your top 3.
I think it's between Priyanka and Rita.
So I am so bad. Please do not revoke my gay card. But I really haven't been keeping up with Canada's Drag Race only because I've been really busy. Like I was away on vacation and then I just came back and, you know, full-time job and like a bitch is busy.
I just went on vacation.
But I have only seen the first episode. But I really do love my girl Scarlett Bobo, obviously. And
do you know her?
I've like met her a few times. Obviously, like she's a cool person. Like I want to get to her more.
Did you ever 3-way with her?
No.
Oh, that's surprising.
Almost.
Did she top you?
No.
Oh my god.
I mean, almost everybody's had a 3-way with Scarlett Bobo. Like,
anyway,
gay card is revoked.
Okay, he wanted to use that really bad, so we're letting him use the echo.
Okay, and then my other like top pick would have to be Jimbo, just because she's so unique and like I kind of like that whole like crazy clown aspect. It's like a different take on a clown.
Yeah.
And that's all I know. So
yeah, I am Team Jimbo all of the way. I think Priyanka is going to be in the top, and I think it might be Rita.
Really?
Yeah, I think Priyanka is gonna make it far. One, she's like a drag race girl. Like there's such a difference between like a drag queen that like lives in the bar at the night, never comes to see the day, and like what Priyanka's trying, like what she does.
She grew up in the entertainment industry. Like she's been doing like kids television since forever.
That's the difference.
Yeah.
So she knows like how to work TV.
That's the difference.
For sure.
Priyanka is as a TV show extraordinaire in the sense. Do you know what I mean? And I feel like that's the only reason why I'm not going to underestimate her. But within the past couple of weeks, Priyanka has just been kind of just like falling flat.
Yeah, but that's also a good thing for her because then they have this like redemption story for her.
She can like build herself up.
Okay, so while we're on this topic of drag, I wanted to kind of talk about like the history of drag just a tiny bit. And the little bit I know, which is not a lot, is because I just went to theater school. So this is my interpretation of what the history of drag is. I have no idea if it's true. These are the facts that Jay is making up. So I know that like back in the day when Shakespeare was like, yo girl, like I'm alive and living my best dream. Like he was like, everybody was around in England. They were like, no girls on stage. And everybody's like, why girl? Why can't there be girls on stage? And they were like, because like you can't have them. And then like, well,
they don't have rights.
Yeah. And then they're like, then what are we going to do? Because none of these guys have big enough titties. Then none of them have long enough hair. What are we going to do? And then Shakespeare was like, put them in
wigs.
Drag, put them in wigs. And that's how drag became. This is just my falsified story of how drag was created. Next thing is if you look at things like vaudeville in the early 90s or in the early like 1920s and 10s, like this is when kind of like doing female impersonation was a thing that started to happen in North America, right? So we're seeing that like this underground thing that's been underground for so long now with Drag Race and Dragula and all of these things that are giving all these drag queens opportunities to be successful in this career. We're seeing this like thing becoming from underground to mainstream. So we're seeing this with ballroom. We're seeing with all these kind of like gay things that we hold to our hearts. And I guess like we have Miss Fiercalicious here, right? The Naomi Smalls of Canada. She's done photo shoots for Vogue. Somebody took a photo. It went in Vogue Italia. That's even more amazing.
Yeah, on their website.
On their website. Does Shoppers Drug Mart campaign and has like performed all over the city. So I guess my question for you is how long have you been doing drag? Why did you become a drag queen?
So I've been doing drag for almost 4 years now.
Yeah.
My anniversary is like in October. Before that, I wanted to try drag for like 2 years before that, but just from like watching like RuPaul's Drag Race, I got into the show and I wanted to try it out for myself. But I was like scared to like actually do drag because there's so much that you need to put in to like be a good drag queen. The main thing that scared me was like the makeup because like makeup is expensive first of all, so it's an investment when you're starting out and you need to be good at it. Like if you're gonna like go out not looking completely polished, people aren't gonna think like highly of you, right? So that's kind of what scared me from starting drag in the beginning.
And I think like sometimes like some drag queens like their first time was like 15 years ago. So like nobody really, they were like, whatever, dress however you want. Now it's like, if you don't come on that stage, first day, looking perfect.
Yeah, because now like with like social media and technology, everyone's taking pictures, everyone's taking videos. So these are going to be like memorialized forever. Everyone's going to see these pictures. Like they had that runway on Drag Race for like your first time in drag. Yeah. So I wanted to like look decent my first time. Yeah. So I started drag in London, Ontario, because I was going to Western at the time. And I entered this Halloween competition. It was like my excuse to like go out and drag for the first time. Yeah. And it was a hot mess. I wasn't even allowed to enter the competition because I was too drunk. I got kicked out. But I had a lot of fun. So after that, I kept like trying to do drag better and like redeeming myself from that first time. And in London, there's not that many opportunities to do drag. So I came back to Toronto and I entered a pageant, Miss El Convento Rico. And it was a hot mess for me. Like anyone's like first time in drag. So like at that point I was like three or 2 months into doing drag and I was like a complete baby going in with like all these queens who like have been doing drag for so long. And I'm glad that I did it because it like gave me the experience. It taught me a lot about drag. And since then, I've done like the pageant, Miss Rico's, every single year. This year was going to be my 4th time entering. Last year I came first runner up, so second place. And this year was like my time to shine. I was so ready. My package was sickening. Like the day of the pageant
Miss Rona.
Miss Rona came.
She was
through
like, "I'm gonna win the pageant
again."
It was such bad luck. No, she fully didn't win. Like she's Miss Rico's right now. It like sucked so much because like it was the day of. Everything was still open, and then the day of the pageant, it was when all the shutdowns started. So they postponed the pageant. It's postponed now until whenever. So yeah.
If you were a drag queen, what would your drag name be? Do you have one?
If I was a drag queen?
Yeah.
I don't. Like, I would love, and like, I think I've maybe thought about this in the past and stuff. Like, you know, like, it's always fun to think of like drag names. I would want something like really fun and witty, but I don't have anything off the top of my head.
I just really want to tell mine. But Jamall, what about you?
A liter box.
A liter a box?
A liter box.
A liter box. Oh, like a cat's litter box.
Uh-huh.
That's fitting.
A litter box.
That's fitting. I mean, actually, maybe it's not because he hates if there's any shit that happens on him.
Of course.
But anyway.
Plus, I hate cats.
Oh, I love cats.
What's yours?
Okay, are you guys ready?
Yes.
Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Rose Parks.
Okay. I kind of love.
So it's my burlesque name. So, you know, she's like a white venture capitalist, just out to make $1. And like all my performances about being white. But actually, my name is Rose Parks. And I'm a black person being a white person. It's a high concept art. I just don't think you get it, Jamall.
And if you dive into the layers of it, like white girls love Rose. So you know that you, with the name like Rose, it's hilarious. But secretly,
Parks
paying homage
For some reason,
to your
I
girl,
see her
Rosa
on
Parks.
The View, just sitting there with her bob.
Yeah, she's like, what's her name, Megan?
Yeah, just kind of giving us this white girl tease, talking about like conservative politics.
Yes, for sure. So, Miss Fiercelicious, where did you get your drag name?
So, me and my friend Whitney, before I started doing drag, because like I said before, like 2 years, I was like had the idea of like trying out drag, and I would always like Photoshop these like pictures of me to see what I would look like in drag.
Amazing.
And like honestly, I look pretty good. So like we like joke around and just like call like the pictures like Miss Fiercalicious. I don't even know where the name came from, but once I actually started doing drag, it just like stuck. And I love the name because it's like unique and like no one else has that name.
Yeah.
And I think it describes me really well. So
yeah, when I first heard it, I was like, she either thinks she's Beyonce or she is Beyonce. And then I found out both.
Yes. When I first heard your name, the first thing that came to my mind was like Girlicious, which I love. Okay,
let's do some stupid.
Yes.
It also kind of like reminds me of Fiercelicious.
Oh yeah,
I have this like idea. Like I don't want to do it right now, but I want to do like a remix to Fiercelicious and make Fiercelicious.
Let's get on it.
Yeah. I get told like a lot though that I should change my name because like it's like I look like in drag I look like a woman, so I need like a woman's name. Like Ecstasy Love at Cruise and Tangos. He keeps telling me that I need to change my name to Samantha. It's just like but I like the name Fiercelicious. Like if you see that name on a list, it stands out. And like if you see me on a stage with other people, I stand out. So you know.
I love it. So I guess, and I think that's a great actual place to go, even though I didn't say we're gonna go there, but I think it's a great thing. You talk about like how people think that you look very feminine, that you like are passing and these kind of things, and there's all these like weird terms about like fishy and she's like
a fishy queen.
Yeah. What are the other like? She's a botched queen. She's a comedy queen. She's a whatever queen.
The subcategory.
But like the biggest thing is with queens, they're like recognized as like women. They're like, oh, they're like super successful at drag, or like they finally got to where they need to be in drag. What do you think of that? Like, because I feel like there's so many different types of drag.
Yeah, there is. And like with me, I try, like I know that like in drag, like I look like a woman, but like that's not what I want to be known for, because I feel like there's so much more to me than just a pretty face.
Right.
So I try, like as of lately, I've been trying to like step out of the box and do like more creative looks and not just be known for like being gorgeous. But actually
but
talented.
but also still known as gorgeous.
Yeah,
but
I mean,
also
like,
talented.
yeah.
Because it's tough, right? You get all those things with like girls that are like, they just call them look queens, right? And
Yeah.
you're like, do you know what? We're actually like, you go up on fucking stage and you do anything.
It
that I
takes
just
a lot
did.
of balls to, yeah, exactly, get up on stage
Yeah.
and perform.
And I guess now we can talk about like how like drag has kind of become like mainstream in today's age, and like how different it is from like when like Savonda Cox, I just aged her so hard there. Savonda Cox started, and like you started, that there's like a lot more acceptance in like the queer culture to be a drag queen, and you're not like the gremlin in the corner. Not saying that you're a gremlin, like that any drag queen's a gremlin in a corner. The other day they were like, we don't really pay attention. So now we're like the center of attention, I guess. Like, what is that doing to change conversation in drag, about drag? Sorry.
I'm so sorry. So what
Yeah,
just
you
happened?
just got super distracted.
What just happened right there was I signaled J-Ho to close the door.
Right after I finished asking a question.
Because the air was sucking my life because I don't like oxygen. And in that moment, Jay Northcott couldn't get his.
Well, I asked a question. I was looking at you.
Oh, were
I was
you?
looking at J-Ho, being like looking for somebody. I know it's like nobody looks like they have an answer on their face, so maybe I'm just like talking on my
Oh
ass.
my god, sorry. I wasn't even looking at you, so I'm so
yeah,
sorry.
you're never paying attention to me. It's actually like really hurts my
The
feelings.
funny part is I'm not paying attention to shit unless someone says my name. I'm just looking at the fucking mixer here.
Anyway, can we please get back on track?
Jamall, what do you think of how mainstream drag is getting?
I don't know. I'm indifferent. I don't know if I think that drags are being exploited. I don't know if I think that the LGBTQ plus community is being exploited. But at the same time, I'm thankful that for once our community is getting the platform that it deserves. Now, is it coming at the right time and at the right... the word I'm looking for, but fuck it.
What did you just break, Jamall?
What is happening?
All that's gonna be cut anyway.
Okay, do you want me to
how
ask the
about
question again? Or do you want
I jump in?
Yeah,
I
go for
actually
it.
broke it.
What did you break?
My vape glass.
Okay, so this is a question for everybody. I'm curious, like, you know, like drag has changed so much in the past 20 years, and now it's like become such a mainstream thing that what is it kind of doing to even like the queer community? And like now it's giving this platform to drag queens that are maybe not always meant to be in that be on that platform yet, and that they're learning and discovering all these things. So like, what's happening now that drag's become mainstream?
I think some drags are being exploited. Some drags are being given this platform that they don't necessarily deserve, which then causes an egotistical mind frame that's not deserved or, well, just not understood. But for me, the biggest point is when drag queens are being exploited. So, for example, where was this love for drag 5 years ago, right? Like, why didn't the heterosexual community love drags before RuPaul's Drag Race became famous?
Well, because, so the thing, as soon as you said that, I'm like, well, okay, a lot of people didn't even know that drag queens really existed. And if they did, they have like this weird sort of misconception about them and what they think it is based on like the media or whatever. But because RuPaul's Drag Race has shown them that drag queens can be like these entertainers, now they're like open to the idea and being like, there's countless of like straight white girls, and now I know that are like, oh my god, do you watch RuPaul's Drag Race? I'm like, yeah, girl, I've only been watching it since season 1. And they're like, oh my god, I love that. And it's like, but you don't even know, like, you didn't know anything about it before. You only love it now.
Yeah.
So wait a second. So you actually, in your heart, feel like people didn't know that drag queens existed before Drag Race?
Yeah, well, okay. So the thing is, obviously drag queens existed, but I don't think people knew as much about them as before.
No.
Right, like they saw Tu Wong Fu and they thought it was just like, Patrick Swayze.
Well, especially when we're talking about straight white girls. They all knew drag queens existed. Right. The issue was that they weren't comfortable accepting drag queens.
Because it wasn't mainstream.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Until it became mainstream. So what they did was they hopped on the bandwagon.
Yeah, once everybody else
Thank you.
liked them, and they're like, yeah,
That's
this is popular now.
exploitation.
I think that's like part of it, but also I do think that there were people who didn't know what drag queen, that they existed, but they just didn't know what drag was.
Right.
I was one of those people. Like a few years back, I had no idea what drag was. I think, like way back when I was like starting high school, I think the first time I ever saw a drag queen was Willem on YouTube, and like I didn't really understand it because there's like a lot that like you see a man like dressed or whatever, dressed up like as a woman, and you like. It's like entertaining when you watch it, but you don't really get it. But then seeing it on Drag Race and actually getting to hear their stories and like understanding what drag means to them, that like opens your mind a bit more to what drag actually is.
Yeah, and I think like if they had like RuPaul's best stripper competition or something. Sorry, that was such a bad. But this is my thing. Is like you go to a strip club and you see strippers and you don't think of them as people in certain ways. You're like, they're my entertainment, right? I think the one thing that RuPaul has done with this platform is humanize drag queens in a way.
It shows you that it's an art form at the end of the day. It's not just someone like dressing up for fun and doing whatever.
And I guess maybe like I saw a little bit of the change when I was younger. Like when I was younger and seeing drag shows, like it was mostly gay men at the gay bar, and now you go to like Cruise and Tango in Toronto, and like it is, especially like on Thursdays, it's like just covered in cis straight women. From my knowledge, I shouldn't even say that they're straight because I don't know. So I guess like how does it feel? Does it feel different for you performing in front of a audience of like queer men than it does performing in front of like straight wedding parties?
So the wedding parties or like the bachelorette parties can be like a bit much at times, and sometimes like straight audiences don't understand drag and they can get like a little too rowdy. Like one time I was performing at Rico's, and the stage there is like, it's kind of interactive. They go up and they dance with you and they tip you. And this one guy, I was like dancing with him. He came up to tip me and he started pulling my hair, and like it's like pinned in really tight, and he started like yanking it out, and I was like, what is going on over here? So there's definitely like some respect that straight audiences like need to learn with drag.
Yeah, and I think it's the same thing with like how much drag brunches are happening, and they're like, and like in a way almost like exploiting the way you were saying, and like that. I mean, they're making good money, hopefully, but like a restaurant that's like, oh, I'm kind of dying. They're like, if we have a drag brunch, maybe people will come. And they do, because drag queens are cool now.
Of course.
I think it's like a good thing though, because you're giving more opportunities to queer people to be able to like make a living off of what they love.
See, and I love that optimism.
Yes. I love that. But for some reason, the activist in me says, but at what cost? Do you know what I mean? So like, if we're gonna sit here and praise opportunities, you have to ask yourself, at what cost? Are you willing to sell yourself? Sell your soul?
I don't know if it's selling your soul by dancing with people with pancakes in front of them.
What I'm saying is that like, if people are exploiting you, yeah, it may be an opportunity, but they're exploiting you. So you're selling your soul.
But I mean, I know my friends that are doing some drag brunches that are getting paid like $300 to $500 for a drag brunch.
You could be getting paid $4 million for the show. You are still selling your soul. For example, I work a very well paid job, right? I will not lie and sit here and say that I don't feel like I sold my soul to the government. I work for the government, for anyone that doesn't know. I work for the government, and I sold my soul to the government. I work for the white man. I work for the white man, for Big Brother, and it is what it is. Like, I don't feel like I am a colored individual or an individual that has any voice. I get it. So now I had to ask myself the same question. At what point did I sell my soul? And it was for my sanity and for my stability.
But if you were able to, at your job with the government, take photos, which is something that you're very into.
Mind you, that's not the job I'm talking about.
I know it's not. But I'm saying like photography is your passion. It's your art form, correct? If the government, if the government was like, we're gonna pay you this much amount of money to do your passion, and you have your own artistic liberty in this space to do whatever you want, is that selling out?
The problem is that the government wouldn't say that to me.
Right, but
that's not happening with drag.
But the bars aren't asking them to wash dishes. That's what I'm trying to say. They're not like, go in the back and drag and wash dishes for $100 an hour.
What do you mean? That they hired her
to do the
knowing
job that they do.
knowing that their audience numbers dwindled. So let's have a drag brunch,
Yeah.
knowing that we need the numbers. So let's just hire Miss Fiercalicious,
Yeah.
hoping that we get some numbers, but we don't actually want her here. That's selling out.
But then a queen of color gets paid $250 plus all the tips.
And on top of that, like the tips too from the audience.
So with that said,
Were you proven wrong?
I'm not proven wrong. I think that it depends. Everyone has
Jamal will never be proven wrong.
No, for real. Everyone has this ethical kind of limit. You know what I mean? And for some people, that would not be selling out. You know what I mean? You're still making your money. You're at the end of the day, you're being a boss bitch. You're making your money. You're going home and you're paying your rent. You're doing all you got to do. For me, that would be selling out. For example,
but what do you think that?
Well, wait, that's different because. Go ahead, Jay.
What is the end? What do you think the end goal of being a drag queen is?
To entertain.
Right?
To entertain doing your craft.
Yeah.
Getting paid to do what you do.
It's kind of like a symbiotic relationship because, like, yeah, the venues are making money, but we're making money off of it too. And normally we wouldn't be making that money unless we had like an audience or like a stage.
Especially at 11 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah.
Wait a second. So just so we're all aware, you can sell out and still profit off of selling out.
But doesn't selling out?
But what's the alternative? How would you want us to like make a name for ourselves or make a name?
So just so we're all aware. So people consider selling out when you go for you join the team that you are fighting against. So now if you are an activist fighting against racism, if you are an activist fighting against pay equalities, inequalities, things like that, and now you join that team, that is a sellout. It's not about you getting paid the right amount.
But wait,
I don't
agree. But we're not fighting the
We're
bars.
not fighting. Yeah. We're literally just talking about
so wait a second.
doing a gig at a brunch.
Yeah,
in an exploitative matter. So
I think it's exploitative if it's like a venue that is like homophobic.
Yeah,
or something
that
like
would be.
And then all of a sudden they're hiring drag queens. But
or like allows you,
not the case,
or like allows you to get mistreated at work or those kind of things. Because like I don't remember what that big. There was like a big company that all the drag queen girl or drag race girls did. Yeah, that were like stealing money from them and doing stuff, and they all just like were like fuck you, and then no queen would ever work for them, and then they went bankrupt.
They're still working for them.
Oh,
there's still queens working. Like
shit.
Naomi Smalls and Kimchi just did like a brunch for them.
Oh,
but with them, like they're like a credit company or something, and they like basically just like profit off of poor people. So it's kind of.
And see, at that level, I think then that's selling out.
Wait! So then, if they profited off of poor people, what's the difference from a bar going shut down?
No. With them, it's different because they're like a credit company. So they're like offering, I don't know how it works exactly. It's like, basically they're making a lot of money off of poor people who are like not able to afford the full price of whatever. And they're using their like credit system.
Yeah.
And then they're making money off of like interest. Yeah. So that's kind of different.
Yeah.
So let me give you the flip down. So now let's say, for example, Cruise and Tangos never had drag shows, period.
Right.
Now due to COVID, they shut down and they can't have parties anymore. Again, they never had drag shows, period.
Right.
So because they're losing money, they decided to hire me, Miss Nicki Minaj herself, to do a show.
You as Nicki Minaj, the impersonating drag queen?
No. Me.
As Jamall? Or are you a drag...
Miss Nicki Minaj herself. To do a show. But they never wanted me there. They knew that they needed something to upkeep the flow. You know what I mean? Because they can't throw parties.
Are you a drag queen in this
Bitch,
situation?
shut the fuck.
I don't know.
From my experience, I've seen that it's mostly like the queens themselves that are reaching out to these venues to be able to do shows at like a different,
that's
different area. Because like when you're in the village, it's like the same people all the time, but you want to expand to like the East End, the West End.
So let me just clarify what I was saying. The point was that if a bar doesn't want you there and they're only having you there in the sense that they are falling under
Right.
and they need to make some money, they are exploiting you. I don't care. I don't care if they are a gay bar. I don't care if they are successful. I don't care what it is. If they only hired you in because they needed people to withstand their numbers, you are being exploited whether or not you are getting paid equal enough to everybody else. And let's not forget that. You know what I mean? Social exploitation is the same as economic exploitation. Right. So don't forget that. I don't care if you are growing in Instagram numbers, if you are growing financially. At the end of the day, they exploited you because they needed people to come to their bar, their store, their restaurant, to their bathhouse, and you were the one to do it.
Okay,
J-Ho, go ahead.
Let me piggyback off what you just said. Like, I get
Don't
it.
piggyback on me.
I don't really know what point. Look, hold on. I don't know
happening.
what point you're trying to make, but like, a gig is a gig, and if a gig is not hurting anybody, like, I don't care if you didn't like drag queens before, and let's say I'm a drag queen, and like, you want me, like, and I'm free, bitch, I'm gonna perform to get my paycheck. Wait, no. So that's what I'm gonna say. As long as the gig is not hurting anybody, and you're not hurting me, and it's like not some sort of moral thing.
I also don't think that happens often in Toronto.
Yeah.
I haven't actually seen that happen at all.
I think the only thing that I see in Toronto that's happening the only thing I was trying to bring up with the exploitation of queens was not really the venue. What I'm hoping that the venue does is that it creates safer spaces and safe spaces for the drag queens. If they're not doing that, then there's a problem. I think if you're allowing like these straight women that are coming into these spaces with these queer performers and they're like allowing them to like grab their titties or pull their hair and this kind of stuff, and then they won't do anything, they won't kick this person out for that bill to be paid and them getting a tip, that's when it's fucked up.
So just so you guys know, I can name to you, and I'm not going to because it's a little,
because 3 people are telling you you're wrong.
Wait. I can name to you 2 bars. I can name to you 2 bars and 1 Pride event that has been publicly shamed as
I know the bar that you're speaking of, and I
that has been
agree.
publicly shamed for being racist, right? And yet consistently they book Black entertainers or entertainers of color. Now, let me ask you a question, J-Ho, because you said a check is a check. So now Viola Davis just came out and said that she regrets filming the movie The Help. Mm-hmm. Even though as powerful as the movie was, at the end of the day, she was working for racist executive producers, directors, you name it, assistants, fucking teacup providers. Like, they were all racist. As impactful as the message was. So now, as a Black woman spreading this impactful message, do you feel liberated?
No, but did you miss completely what I just said?
No,
I said if it's not hurting, like you said, a check is a check. Yeah,
it hurts,
but
baby.
if it's not hurting anybody, then a check is a check.
When you find out that you are being exploited,
well,
it
exactly.
hurts.
So if it is, then
so
I wouldn't
answer the question. She was exploited.
Uh-huh.
She didn't realize at the time that who she was working for was racists. So now, literally as of last week, she goes, if she could take back any job, it would be that job.
Right, but then you're also forgetting that there's there's contracts in place or stuff like that. So regardless, you would just learn from the experience and just not work with them again. Jay, hit it.
Jamall. Okay, listen. You is kind. You is smart.
Well,
you is important.
I think you guys are losing the message of exploitation, and you guys are thinking exploitation is simply off of being abused and not rewarded. You can be rewarded and still be exploited.
Or maybe we disagree with you.
Yeah, that's okay.
You guys haven't given me an example of being exploited, and
I did.
What was that?
Should we maybe just get back on track?
Okay, is that okay? Are we okay if we move on?
No.
Okay. What do you want to? How do you want to continue?
I would like you guys to understand that.
I understand where you're coming from.
You can still be exploited and still be rewarded.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Tell me about it. That time I got DP'd.
Sorry.
Just kidding. So I want to get into talking about DPing. Let's talk about dating.
Can I have a conversation?
Sing it.
Yeah.
I want to talk about yesterday's episode of Wendy Williams.
Okay.
Girl, who's watching Wendy Williams
this-
still?
Does this just have to do with drag?
She's on hiatus, so that's
Okay.
I cannot.
Are we talking about Wendy Williams?
No, I think
Oh.
we're moving on.
Okay, so
Fuck
let's
you both. Fuck you both.
let's get into it. Okay, speaking of double penetration,
What?
because I just said double penetration. I'm just trying to bring it back. I'm trying to get my good groove in my bridges. Let me get my bridges.
Your
So-
bridges, you lost your walls in those bridges.
Yeah. Anyway, so speaking of DPing, dating a drag queen. I've never dated a drag queen. Let's do a quick lightning round. Would you date a drag queen?
Yeah, I think I would.
Would you date a drag queen?
Okay, for me, it's a little different because, like, I know these people
Kiki
and I work with
Kai
them.
Kai.
Yeah, right. And I work with them often. But if I like them and if, like, we had a good connection, I guess I would be open to
But
it.
what if you moved to a new city and you didn't know them?
Okay, but I'm obviously going to get to know them. That's
No.
the thing. It's like
You're-
you're dating your coworkers.
So you're just like me. I like to add these contexts to these questions.
Jamal, would you date a drag
No,
queen?
no. The question was, would you date a drag queen?
Yes.
So let's say, for example, you moved to Mexico, and a drag queen
I
hits you
just said
up.
I would. I didn't say I wouldn't. I said
But you know that.
perhaps.
It's just
It's weird. It's like
Yes
you're dating
or no?
Yes.
Thank you.
Jamal, would you date a drag queen?
I already have.
Okay, perfect. So, have you? This is a question for Miss Fiercelicious.
Okay.
Have you ever had sex in drag?
I mean, I've been known occasionally to dabble in the arts, but I always like the thing with me is like I want the other person to like know that at the end of the day, like I'm not living my whole life as a woman. So
Mhm.
as long as like everyone's knowledgeable, I don't think
Right.
there's anything wrong with that.
Yeah, because a lot of people have like misconceptions of like the difference
Yeah.
between drag queens and being
and like
trans.
a trans woman,
Or
yeah.
like even a trans woman who is a drag queen, then people are like, how does that happen if they're not the same thing?
Yeah, and I
Right.
think that's like something that a lot of like straight people don't understand either,
Mhm.
and it's important that they know the distinction between the two.
Yeah, I agree. And I think that there's like some fetishizing. Like, do you feel like safe? Like, do you walk home alone a lot of the time when you're coming from bars?
Usually, try like I take like the bus often, so
Mhm.
like if I'm gonna like leave the venue, I'll like take my makeup off and like
Mm-hmm.
take the bus home. But yeah, it's kind of scary being in drag and like being in public, especially like when you're not in your safe space. You don't know how people are gonna like react around you.
Right.
So I try to stay away from that.
Yeah, I think there's like a huge vulnerability in being like, and I just remember like, I don't know who it was, but one of the RuPaul girls was talking about like getting ready in their house and then taking the subway
Mhm.
like in New York to
Yeah.
to go do
It's
drag.
scary. Like I've done it before. Like I've gone to like gigs and drag, and everyone stares at you on the subway. There's like mothers hiding their children from you. But yeah, I try to avoid it as much as I can. Like I'll usually get ready
Mhm.
because I don't like live in the village, so I usually have to like go there early and get ready at the bars. So that I don't have to travel there.
And do you think any of that's gonna change? You know, now that we've had things and so
I don't
much
think it's going to
mainstream?
change I think it will, but not for a while. Because like now society is like slowly opening up to like
Right.
the idea, but it's going to take a while for it to happen.
And I think we see that like as queer people, is that like it's okay if it's only like this amount of queer.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like it's always like, oh, like you can be that, like J-Ho, you can be that gay, but then don't be that gay in front of my 3-year-olds.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of, and I noticed this with a lot of like my straight white girlfriends, where they're like, I'm all for you and like whatever. But then as soon as they see any, not just like with me, but like if they see any sort of like gayness that's almost like too much, they're like, oh, like let me shield my family from this.
Yeah, or it's like the opposite when they're like, where they're like, oh my god, like yes, queen, work. Like, oh my god, I love that you and your boyfriend kiss in front of me or hold hands in public. You're the cutest couple in the world. Or like, you're a drag queen. Oh my god, can you paint me? Can you do this? And you're like, okay, we know. Like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
Slow down, girl.
I guess, yeah, that both sides of that like spectrum are kind of like leave a bad taste in my mouth.
They're like both homophobic.
They really are. So I don't know. I
Just
think you
to
need to
let-
find like a good balance.
Yeah, just to let you girls know, like it's still homophobic, even if you really appreciate us.
I've never experienced that, and I'm so thankful.
Yeah, it's because you're a dom top daddy.
No, no, for real. And I'm sorry that you guys had to, but Yeah, that's unfortunate.
People are annoying. People suck. I guess now we see that drag is changing. The world is changing. Miss Rona is making sure of that. But then also everything else is changing, and we see that queer culture is becoming mainstream. Black culture is being put into the forefront, and same with indigenous cultures, and we're seeing that we're having these conversations. So I guess what my thing is that I want to end this episode with is like, what does the future of drag and the queer community look like to you guys?
I think in the future it's going to be more accepting to like different forms of drag, because right now it's like, especially with like Drag Race, there's like the traditional drag where it's like a man dressed as a woman, but there's so many other forms of drag. There's like trans women also who do drag, and there's like alternative forms of drag, and there's AFAB queens who are like women assigned female at birth, so they're
Cash Riot.
Yeah, Cash Riot, for example.
Sorry, wait, stop, full pause, explain.
So an AFAB queen is someone who is assigned female at birth and they do drag. Because at the end of the day, drag is just like, well,
what's the
some
term
forms
again?
of drag.
What's the term?
AFAB. AFAB.
And then it's like AMAB, assigned male at birth. So a lot of people.
Because drag is like an exaggerated form of like femininity. If it's like female drag.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
And in any part of it, it's like the extravagant, right? So like if you want to do something extravagant and be seen that way for a moment, but you don't want to be seen like that every day. Yeah. It's kind of an opportunity for you to do that.
Can I go next? And only because my opinion is a little bit controversial. So like the one thing that I struggled with was this AFAB idea. I don't believe that straight women should be doing drag.
But this
don't please don't challenge me. It's my thought, it's my belief, it's my opinion. And the reason why I feel that way is I grew up from 14 years old in the ballroom scene community. God forbid a straight man, a straight woman came in and walked this ball in a fucking tutu, or come in and walk realness in a thug's look and tell me that you look real, bitch. It's a gay motherfucking venue. You have to understand the struggles. You have to understand the hardships that we went through and the reason why this is an art form. So now if you don't belong to this community, in my mind, you don't understand why it is an art form.
How do you feel about white people doing ballroom?
Ballroom is not, whoa. Ballroom is not a black thing.
It was born out of Black and Latinx
boy,
things.
bye. Like, I'm not even going to address that.
That's what it was born out of.
I'm not even going to address that because it's not. It's literally minority. Like, trust me, baby boy. I've been to ballroom in New York. I've been to ballroom in Mexico. Like, no, it's minorities. So you have the blacks, you have the Latins, you even have the whites. For example, do you remember the bitch that styled Devil Wears Prada? The redheaded bitch, I remember her name. Anyway, that white bitch had a fucking house. She had a house 10 years ago.
But that's 10 years ago. I'm saying where it originated from.
At 10 years ago, she was 70 years old.
Okay.
So then imagine where she was 20 years ago. Hector Extravaganza died, 5 years ago? And he was in the ballroom scene for 30 years. That was in New York City. And he only died 5 years ago. Therefore, it's not just blacks. It's also Latinos. It's also whites. The ballroom scene does not shun away any single race.
And that's what I'm trying to get to. Is that you're saying like if straight people did this, and if you just watch a Legendary that happened on HBO,
is that
House of Ninja. Let me finish.
Thank you.
House of Ninja, they were cis women.
The House of Ninja. The father of House of Ninja was
Love them, by the way.
Yeah, yeah. But if you've watched Legendary, now the new house mother of House of Ninja is a cis woman, and every single person in the house is a cis woman. Who was the house
father for like 30, 40, 50 years?
But you said that you wouldn't welcome them into a ball, but they've been part of the ballroom scene in New York.
I wouldn't welcome them into a ball.
You just said why. You said you would say, why the fuck are they there? And you got upset. Did you not?
I mean,
am I wrong?
I probably did say that.
Am I wrong?
I probably did say
and
that.
this is my only point. I'm sorry to call you on your toes.
The new House of Ninja mother is a straight woman.
a cis, probably straight woman.
No, don't give me this probably. Is
I
she
don't
a
know.
straight woman?
I haven't tried to fuck her. I don't
then
know.
Shut the fuck up. Because if she could be a lesbian, then she fits the fuck in.
But you never even let me finish because like the whole thing that we were talking about is Tash Riot is part of the queer community.
Yeah.
So she's not a cis woman.
What?
She's a cis woman. Sorry, she's not a straight woman.
Any sense.
She's not a straight woman.
Wait, what?
The
point that I had was that straight individuals should not be dabbling on this community.
Why?
Sorry?
I think that everyone has a reason for wanting to do drag, and it's not like up to us to like condemn them.
Yeah, my friend Ann Alien.
I'm sorry. You don't celebrating queer life because it is fun is not a reason to do drag.
But you don't know. You don't know that that's their reasoning for.
So let me ask you a question. The last time that you were at Pride, how many straight individuals that you noticed were there and simply there because they felt gay was fun? Pride was fun.
But isn't that the whole point?
Okay, but I don't know. Then you
know what? Then you need to question your ideology because that's not what Pride is about. Pride is a celebration of who we are. Right. So is ballroom. So is drag.
Right.
So when people start to touch upon this that don't belong,
but like they're allies.
But yeah,
I
was just gonna
say because they're allies until it becomes. So for example,
not all of them.
Not all of them.
So would you rather be like a homophobic person?
I'm not talking for the masses, but then you have that one Karen that wants to come to Pride, wants to come to your show at Cruise and Tangos. Like, oh, I love Miss Fiercelicious. All of a sudden, her son comes out as gay. Now Karen's like, you're not gay.
But then at least she's coming to support Miss Fiercelicious and not coming after queer kids with a bat. Do you know what I mean? Like,
but why can't her son be gay?
Because I've never been in that
so what you're saying to me is
is
that one is okay and one is not.
I'm not. I'm saying. That
I don't think that happens often. Though, like most of like the straight women that I have met at bars, who I've met at bars, will like talk to me and they're really open to like the LGBTQ community. They're there supporting us for a reason.
Can I get
there is like the odd person.
Are you gonna teach us again?
No, I'm not gonna teach you guys. I'm gonna give you guys a real life example. So, because I've been through it all, you know, I'm old as a motherfucker. So, growing up, obviously I was DL because I'm so masculine. Shit. Wait. So masculine. Oh, it didn't work. My special effects didn't work. So anyway, so I grew up in the hood. For most of my life, nobody knew that I was gay. My mom found out at an early age, but I didn't. Well, at sometimes I did, but I didn't act gay to the general public. And then the first year my mom seen me at Pride, she happened to be with other women of the neighborhood. In that moment, they were all accepting of me. Oh, it's okay. It's okay. It's okay. It's okay. I kid you not. The next day I went back and I had guns to my face. Like, dude, you are gay. Why? Why did I have those guns to my face? Because those same women went back in my neighborhood and said, that boy's a faggot. So what they did was they found a day of celebration as a way of amusement to come down to Church Street and party, have some fun.
Right.
What that did to me at 15, 16 years old was put a gun to my fucking forehead.
Those same women put the guns.
Not the same women.
But they told people.
Thank you.
Right. But
so
what I'm saying is like I hope that they did not go home and say to their husbands, Jamall's a
how else would the neighborhood have known that I was gay?
They could have went.
I think
they could have went Jamall's gay.
It was like word of mouth, and it got out that way to people who are less.
Guess what?
What?
If you're outing a 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25-year-old man that he is gay, guess what?
Yeah.
You are not an ally. So
but
don't tell me you are an ally.
That's understanding the gay community, right? And I'm not defending these women at all. I'm not defending that they did something right. But the thing is like my mom didn't know when she outed me to my entire family that it would hurt my feelings or that I would be put into danger.
But this woman did.
How do you know? Did she explicitly say that?
She went and told hood niggas with guns in a fucking hood neighborhood that is homophobic that this boy is a faggot, not gay.
Did you hear her say that? I'm just wondering.
Actually, one time I did.
Okay.
She actually called me a faggot to my face.
I guess what I'm hoping that we're getting out of this conversation, less than like taking away the allyship from these people, and not this woman specifically. You have a specific story about a very shitty thing that happened, about a very shitty individual, and I am 100% there listening to you and understanding. What I'm not understanding right now is how this is connecting to drag, and how queer is becoming mainstream, and how we have to slowly see that our space is being taken up.
So let me bring it back in.
Okay.
So what I was saying before was that it's okay for queers to be mainstream, but let's just stop capitalizing off of it. And that is not simply just the heterosexual community.
Right.
If anyone knows me, people that know me know that I can't stand RuPaul for the life of me. Like I'm very much Willem.
Yeah.
Me and Willem see things the same way. RuPaul capitalized off of the gay community, and what RuPaul is doing is no different than what a homophobic man is doing, in my mind. Full stop. I'm gonna turn off my mic because I'm just so dope. So on that note, guys, you guys finish off because I need a new cocktail.
Okay.
Wait a second. Let me just do this. If you can't love yourself, how the hell are you gonna love somebody else? Can I get an amen?
Amen.
So, I would like to say to anybody that's listening today that, do you know what? Being queer is weird. Our environment is in a constant evolution, and we're completely learning new things every single day. And with queer culture becoming mainstream, we're getting challenged with what are we losing by things becoming mainstream, and what are we gaining? What are drag queens gaining from being in mainstream, and what are they losing?
It's obviously not a perfect system, but it's definitely brought queer people more into the light, and it's getting more accepted. And drag queens are now like able to actually make a living off of doing drag.
Yeah.
Something that they're passionate about. And like it's obviously gonna take time to like be like better and like to perfect everything. Like in the past, Black people didn't have rights, and like things were like shitty. But slowly over time, they got better. They're not perfect now, but it's got like a lot better now. Looking back like 10, even like 20 years, there's improvement happening.
Yeah, I always think about how cute it would be for 8-year-old Jay to have like watched RuPaul's Drag Race as like this weird little queer non-binary kid, and been like, one day I could grow up to be a drag queen.
I mean, you still could.
I know. I still could now. But when you're 8 years old, imagine going to school and they're like, what do you want to be when you grow up? And you're like, a fucking drag queen.
Oh my God. Okay, so I have a question from Miss Fiercalicious.
Yeah.
I just want to know if there is anything that comes to your mind that you want to let like the public know that maybe you found out by being on the other side of drag that you maybe didn't know before. Is there one thing that comes to your mind that you were maybe blown away from the drag scene, or that maybe surprised you from the industry, like anything?
Well, like for my own personal experience, I've like learned that drag is an art form, and there's so much work that goes into being a good drag performer. You need to be able to like do your own makeup. You have to like have like some sort of talent to like captivate an audience. Like if that's like dancing, comedy, whatever. But you need like some kind of skill. And there's like, it's honestly at the end of the day like a business. You need to like invest in yourself to be able to actually make a living off of it. It's going to be expensive at first, but if you stick to it and if you're good at it, it gets better.
I love it. Let's finish her off. Let's jerk her off, and she's almost there. We've been edging for a while.
Okay,
it's time to finish it off. What's a thing that you would tell an 8-year-old Jay or an 8-year-old Miss Fiercelicious if they were like, I want to be a drag queen?
Honestly, just go for it, and like don't be afraid of like what anyone else thinks about you. Cause like I wish, like for me, I have always been like when I went to high school, when I was in university, I was always in like science and math. And I wanted to be like a doctor originally. And then once I started doing drag, that like changed. But I wish that when I was younger, I like I was like more in the arts, because that would have helped me out so much more now. But I was always like afraid to be, like dance or like do whatever because like of what other people would think. But that kind of like hindered me. And now I really wish that when I was younger, I just like didn't care about what other people thought, and I just did what made me happy. Because I have been taking dance now, but it's like harder when you're in your 20s, like learning how to dance, and when you're like in your like you're a teen, whatever,
or like 6 years old, or like these ones are still when they're 2. Yeah,
it's easier. But I'm happy that like I'm still at a point where like I'm still youngish, so I'm able to. Thank you.
I love it.
You know, grow from here.
I love it. So where can everybody find you on the internet?
You can find me on Instagram at Miss Fiercalicious. For those of you who are illiterate, it's spelled MISSFIERCALICIOUS.
Yes. Aww. And I have been J-Ho. You can find me at Decent People.
Bitch, I'm back. I'm Alexander Jamall at Alexander Jamall on Instagram. And the Instagram is obviously at Barbaqueer.
Yes.
My OnlyFans is soon to come, bitch.
Bye.
Holla.
Beyonce inspired the girls.
Miss Fiercelicious, thank you so much for joining us on Barbaqueer. Thank you everybody for listening. Make sure if you're on Apple Podcasts, which not many people are anymore, that you rate us 5 stars. If you think it's good, if you think it's bad, still rate us 5 stars and give us a comment that you thought it was bad. Make sure you tell your friends, tell your family, tell all the fags, tell all the straights, tell all the cis, tell all the trans. We are here to fucking stay. We will see you next week. Bye.
Bye.
Still not original, the ending.
No.
We still haven't figured it out.
We
will.
Okay, signing out.
Okay.
Oh my god, my ears.